Today I'm going to talk to you guys about the reason why I moved to Europe and how, because a lot of people ask me, first of all, like, what are you doing in Europe? Why are you there? And then they ask me, how do you live there? Like, do you need a visa? Do you have a job? These kind of things. So I wanted to explain that story. And then from now on, if anyone ever asks me those questions, I'm just going to send them a link to this video and say, yeah, just watch that. Just kidding. So I'm gonna start from the beginning of the story, which is back in 2012, I started university / college at Pepperdine. And at Pepperdine, I didn't know this when I decided to go there, but 73% at the time that I went there, 73% of all students end up studying abroad their second year. So I looked at the options. There were about 7 different options, I think. And I was kind of torn between London and Florence because I knew I wanted to go to Europe. There was some other European cities too, but I was torn between London and Florence. And in the end, I picked Florence, and that was like the best decision ever because I love Florence so much. I have also since been to London, and I love Florence so much. It's so beautiful. I was studying film at Pepperdine, so it was just such a really epic and creative place to be in studying arts. So I was immersed in art history. I got to go to museums every single week. I was studying Michelangelo paintings and sculptures and then going out to see them in real life just a few days after that. So there's literally nothing like studying art history in Florence. Unlike most of the students in the program, like 90% of them, I only went 1 semester instead of the full year. And so having to go back earlier than a lot of my friends really deprived me of that full experience, and I could not wait to go back to Florence someday. And I made a plan that after I graduated from my bachelor's that I was gonna study again and do a master's in Florence. So that's what I did. I applied and I got into a graphic design school, and that was a really rich experience because I was there pretty much all alone. I didn't have the comfort of the American Pepperdine school. I was there at an Italian school with international classmates completely on my own, and that was quite an experience. I had to find my own apartment. Unlike with Pepperdine, they put you in an apartment, everything was planned out. But when I went the second time, I had to sort everything out, and I was 21 at the time. So that was a big jump for me, and I wasn't thinking I'm gonna live in Europe forever. I was just thinking this is a travel experience I need to get out of my system. I need to experience this while I'm young and while I can, and then I'm here. I was not talking to Siri. Okay, she's here. I was thinking this. So I was thinking that this is just some travel stuff I need to get out of my system while I'm young. And then after I finish my master's, I'm gonna go back to LA and work in film because that is what I really wanted to do at that time. So I finished the school, went back to LA to work in film, but meanwhile, something happened. My winter break from my master's program, I did a little Euro trip with some of my friends, and I ended up meeting a guy on this trip in Barcelona. So I met this guy and he was amazing, and it was pretty much love at first sight, I'm not gonna lie. We met in a hostel. We were staying in the same hostel, and this was the day my friends left and I stayed because I was gonna stay in Europe and go back to Italy, and they went back to the States. As soon as they left, literally the day they left, the morning that they left, I met this guy in the hostel and he became my friend. So that's how we met. And I obviously didn't know it was gonna change my whole life, but I knew that I really liked him and I wanted to see him again. So that was my winter break in my master's program, and we kind of did a little bit of long distance dating, just seeing each other. Like I saw him again on spring break. He came to Florence once to visit me. And so didn't think so much of it, but I went back to LA, went back to my film job that I really liked, and I was like, something is missing. I love LA, but I'm not done yet with Europe. I still need to travel. I'm still used to this. I'm used to the LA life. I'm used to my job that I had been working all throughout college, and I really wanted to keep traveling. So I thought, okay, I'm just gonna go now just for the summer. Before it was like just for my bachelor's semester, then it was just for the master's, then it was just for the summer. So I went just for the summer, and that really changed everything because I realized I don't just like Florence, I like Barcelona too. I could see myself living here. And I came with my friend Leilani, and we rented an apartment together near the beach. It was 1 minute walking distance from the beach. It was an amazing apartment with a little rooftop and everything, and amazing roommates, and we had such a great time. And of course it was summer in Barcelona, like there's literally nothing like it. But I was like, this could be my life. This could be my life every day. This is a summer to me, but this is just regular life for the Barcelona people. This is how it is. Cheap beer, beautiful beaches, music outside every single day, free concerts all the time, street parties. The food is so good, like Spanish tapas. There's so many reasons to fall in love with Barcelona, and just the way that it lights up at night. So after the summer trip here in Europe, I asked my boyfriend if he wanted to come back to California with me, which I thought was absolutely crazy. And he said yes. He left his job for 3 months, and he came back to California. So the reason I keep saying 3 months was the time that I spent the summer in Barcelona, and 3 months was the amount of time that Jesper came to California, was because 3 months is actually the maximum amount of time that Americans are allowed to be in Europe and Europeans in the United States, vice versa. So 3 months is the max time you can be there without a visa, and that's what we were working with at the time. So after my 3 months here and his 3 months here, we kept this charade up for over a year. And in this year, something happened that gave me the how I could move to Europe, because before I didn't really have a how. Because also when he was in California, he couldn't work, and when I was in Europe, I couldn't work. You can't legally work without the proper visa, without a job. And it's kind of hard to get that visa if you are new in your career and if you don't really have like a lot of skills. And in my case, I didn't speak Spanish, and I still kind of don't speak Spanish, but I'm learning. And I didn't really feel confident to apply for jobs here because I didn't speak the language very well. And so the why every day is a decision. I keep choosing why I want to live here, why I love Barcelona, why I don't want to go home. And it's just a really good lifestyle. Like the travel is so accessible. You can have a totally different language, culture, food in just a couple of hours. So I really think there's nothing like Europe. There's a lot of different memes about how people can like drive to Germany for beer and then drive to Amsterdam for some cheese and then meet my cousin in France on the way home. But like it's real, like you can. Funny story, I bought plane tickets to Italy just to go for the day because the ticket was 10 euros each way. That's like $11 each way. And so Jesper and I did lunch in Italy and came back to Barcelona. So that's the why I moved here. And then now I'm gonna tell you the how on my walk to a cafe, because cafes are finally opening up. I can only take coffee to go, but I'm still going for it. And I'm gonna go to my favorite cafe, Lulu, down the street. So I'll show you a bit of the city and I'll explain how I got to move to Barcelona. Barcelona has newly instated some regulations stating that we're allowed to go out for walks from certain hours of the day. Like right now it's the morning, so we can go out until 10 a.m. for walks. And before we weren't allowed to go for walks. We were only allowed to go to the store or for essential reasons, but now we can go on walks and exercise. So everyone and their mom is jogging and out right now because we weren't able to exercise for the past 2 months or whatever. So there's a lot of people jogging and biking. And that's another thing I love about the city is it's so active. You always see people in the park doing yoga and all kinds of things going on outside every single day, not just when we're coming out of a quarantine. So like I said, before I could only be in Europe for 3 months at a time without a visa. So the things that I could do to get a visa would be get a job, but I kind of tried to get a job and I couldn't get a job. And then I could get married to my boyfriend, but we weren't ready to get married yet. So I didn't really know what I could do. And so we just did the 3 months back and forth thing for like a few years. Plus there was the money problem. I couldn't work here, so when I was here visiting, I didn't have a lot of money to support myself. and all that stuff. So one of the times I went back to California, I came into some money, and I'll save that story for another video, but basically I didn't have to work for about a year, and so I could just spend that time traveling and doing this back and forth thing. And we had a really great time. When I was in Europe, we were together, and then when I had to get out of Europe, sometimes we would even go to other places. Like we spent 3 months in Asia one of the times I had to get out of Europe. So that was a lot of fun. Our first year dating was full of travel. Like to date, we've been to 11 different countries, and I wouldn't have traded that experience for anything. So the fact that it didn't have a visa did make our relationship a lot more interesting and dynamic, and the logistics of everything. But it was kind of hard because sometimes we had to say goodbye after 3 months and spend some time apart. So we thought we had to get married, but it turns out there was a bit of a loophole in the system that we found out once we had been dating for like 1.5 to 2 years. So we learned that we didn't have to get married. We could actually apply for a civil partnership. So all you have to do to apply for a civil partnership is go to a notary's office, pay them 90 euros, like $100, and you're a civil partner with someone. You don't have to have a marriage, and it's a lot less legally binding than a marriage. It's just kind of affirming to the state, the government of Spain, that you are legally a couple and you live together. So we did that, and then I could apply for my residence as his partner, still not being married. So that was a lot more cohesive with where we were in our relationship, and I didn't want to just get married for papers. Neither of us did. So we did a civil partnership, and with that I could stay for 5 years and I can renew it as much as I want. So now I'm here on a civil partnership visa, and with that visa I can travel to any country in Europe because there's kind of a border-free policy going on where you can travel to different countries as much as you want, and you don't have to have a visa to go to Italy or a visa to go to Denmark. You can just go. So I can live in Spain and I can work in Spain, but since I had this time of like not having to work, I ended up just starting my own business, and now I work online, and that is how I support myself. And I'll talk more about my business in other videos coming soon. But yeah, that's how I get to live here. And if you are looking to get a visa to live in Europe, the civil partnership one is recommendable. Like, don't pretend to be in a relationship with someone, but if you are dating someone, then that's a perfect visa to apply for if you're not ready to get married yet. So yeah, that's my story of how and why I live in Europe. And as you can see, it's a very beautiful city. There's a lot of nice coffee shops, and there's a lot to do in Barcelona, and I can't wait till everything opens back up again so that we can enjoy the city even more. Well, thanks for watching. If you like my story and you want to see more about my journeys, my travels, my business, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more travel vlogs, creative projects, and business and success stories. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.